The facility's internal chronometer had been counting silent seconds for 37 years, 214 days, and 6 hours. Buried beneath 3 kilometers of solid rock, the Prometheus complex represented humanity's most audacious insurance policy, a genetic legacy hidden from the world that had nearly destroyed itself. Dr. Elena Rice stared at the primary activation console, her fingers hovering over interfaces that had remained untouched for decades. Her reflection in the reinforced glass showed a woman who had sacrificed everything for this moment. Silvered hair framed a face etched with lines of determination, eyes that had seen the world crumble and chose to fight instead of surrender. The genetic enhancement program had been her life's work. When global governments realized the cascade of environmental, political, and technological disasters would likely end human civilization, they had made a final desperate choice. Create a small group of enhanced humans, not just soldiers, but complete genetic redesigns capable of surviving and rebuilding where normal humans would perish. 47 pods lined the circular chamber, each a marvel of bioengineering and preservation technology. Suspended animation had kept their occupants in perfect stasis, their bodies enhanced beyond human limitations. Neurological networks, reinforced skeletal structures, enhanced metabolic processes, and adaptive immune systems that could process toxins and radiation like water through a filter. The primary activation sequence began with a low hum that gradually increased in intensity. Diagnostic systems flickered to life, running complex checks on each pod's inhabitant. Holographic displays showed internal body metrics, genetic stability, and neural network synchronization. Captain Marcus Kane would be the first to awaken. His genetic profile represented the pinnacle of human potential, a combination of strategic intelligence, physical adaptability, and emotional stability that had been carefully engineered. His pod systems began the gradual awakening process, nanite networks stimulating neural pathways and preparing his enhanced body for activation. Elena watched the primary monitor, her breath catching in her throat. Years of preparation, decades of secret research, and the hopes of an entire species rested on these 47 individuals. They were more than soldiers. They were architects, scientists, leaders, and survivors, each carefully selected and genetically modified to rebuild civilization from its ashes. The first pod seal broke with a soft hiss of pressurized air. Intricate medical systems began withdrawing support interfaces, preparing the enhanced human inside for full consciousness. Captain Kane's enhanced eyes would be the first to see the world that had been lost. Outside the facility's protective shell, the world remained a graveyard of human civilization. Cities reduced to ruins, ecosystems devastated, and the few remaining human settlements struggling to survive in pockets of habitable terrain. But inside this mountain complex, hope stirred with mechanical precision. Dr. Rice initiated the final activation sequence. Lights pulsed across the chamber, a symphony of technological marvel and human determination. Each pod represented a carefully calculated chance for human survival, a genetic blueprint for rebuilding what had been lost. "Wake up," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the complex's mechanical breathing. "It's time to save what remains of humanity." The pods began to open, one by one. The future was about to begin. The abandoned cityscape of Denver stretched before them like a massive, decaying skeleton. Skyscrapers tilted at impossible angles, their glass facades long shattered, metal frames rusted into intricate patterns of decay. Captain Marcus Kane led the reconnaissance team, each step calculated and precise. Aria Martinez, the team's primary sensor specialist, moved with a fluid grace that defied human limitations. Her enhanced sensory system processed information thousands of times faster than a normal human brain. Microscopic optical implants scanned the environment, collecting data with every movement. Atmospheric composition stabilizing, she reported through their neural network. Radiation levels significantly lower than previous projections. Looks like natural decay and biological reclamation have done more restoration work than our models predicted. Kane acknowledged with a subtle hand gesture. Their communication was a complex dance of micro-movements, neural links, and shared consciousness. Each team member carried not just physical enhancements, but a compressed library of human knowledge, survival techniques, technological restoration protocols, and comprehensive historical archives. Dr. Elena Rice's voice crackled through their neural link. Stay alert. The last satellite scans showed unexpected energy signatures in the downtown quadrant. Something doesn't match our environmental models. The team moved in a perfect formation, each member covering a specific angle of approach. Their clothing, a marvel of adaptive nanotechnology, shifted colors and textures to match the surrounding environment. Camouflage was no longer just about visual concealment, but a complex system of thermal, electromagnetic, and atmospheric adaptation. Sergeant David Chen, the team's technological restoration expert, paused near an old communication tower. His augmented hands moved across the rusted infrastructure, microscopic diagnostic tools extending from his fingertips. Interesting, he muttered. This tower's base shows signs of deliberate preservation. Someone's been maintaining key infrastructure points. Kane's enhanced vision picked up subtle details others might miss. Faint tracks in the dust. Carefully hidden supply caches. Remnants of human activity that suggested survival wasn't just about luck. It was about strategy. We're not alone, he stated simply. Area's sensors went into hypersensitive mode. Multiple organic signatures, approximately 2.3 kilometers northeast. Small group, showing signs of structured settlement activity. The revelation meant more than just finding survivors. It represented hope, the first concrete evidence that humanity hadn't completely disappeared. Their mission was never just about survival, but about restoration, about rebuilding what had been lost. Dr. Rice's voice carried a note of excitement. The neural network is picking up complex communication patterns. These aren't just random survivors. They've developed some form of organized community. Kane studied the distant horizon. The ruined city seemed to breathe around them. A complex ecosystem of decay and potential rebirth. Trees grew through broken windows. Vegetation reclaimed concrete and steel. Nature was slowly erasing the marks of human civilization, yet something resilient remained. Prepare for first contact, he commanded. But remember our primary directive. We're here to help, to restore, not to control. The team adjusted their equipment. Neural links synchronized. Adaptive camouflage systems engaged. They were humanity's last hope, walking through the graveyard of human civilization. And they were about to make their presence known. The fortified mall stood as a testament to human ingenuity and desperation. Once a cathedral of consumer culture, it now served as a lifeline for 37 survivors. Reinforced walls created from shattered retail displays, solar panels cobbled together from museum exhibits, and water collection systems that turned every drop into a precious resource. Maya Rodriguez watched the approaching team from the observation platform. Her right eye, a sophisticated biomechanical replacement, scanned their approach with precision that would have been impossible before the world's collapse. Years of survival had transformed her into something more than just a leader. She was a guardian, a strategist, a living memory of humanity's resilience. Captain Marcus Kane recognized the tactical brilliance of their settlement immediately. The defensive positioning, the layered security systems, the carefully maintained supply lines. This wasn't just survival. This was adaptation. Hold position, he signaled to his team. The last thing they wanted was to appear as a threat. Area's neural link buzzed with incoming data. Thermal signatures suggest advanced medical capabilities. They've preserved significant pre-collapse medical technology. Her fingers traced invisible interfaces, collecting every possible detail about the settlement. Maya's voice crackled through a jury-rigged communication system. Stop right there. State your purpose. The weapon in her hands looked like it had been assembled from 3 different technological eras, a perfect metaphor for their world. Kane stepped forward, his movements deliberate and transparent. We're here to help. We have resources, knowledge, and capabilities that could change everything for your community. Dr. Elena Rice's voice whispered through their neural network. Careful. First contact is critical. These survivors have developed complex survival mechanisms. The settlement's perimeter bristled with tension. Makeshift defenses showed signs of recent upgrades, evidence of a community that refused to become victims. Salvaged drone components, repurposed industrial sensors, communication arrays built from the bones of old technology. David Chen, the team's restoration specialist, noticed something extraordinary. Their power grid, he vocalized to the team. It's running on a hybrid system. They've managed to integrate pre-collapse solar technology with advanced biomimetic energy storage. Maya approached closer, her biomechanical eye scanning every detail of the super soldiers. Enhanced humans were not unknown to her, but these were different. These were something else entirely. "Who sent you?" she demanded. The question carried the weight of decades of survival, of watching the world die, and choosing to fight back. Kane's response was careful. "No one sent us. We're here because humanity needs to rebuild. Not just survive, but restore what was lost." The settlement's other inhabitants began to emerge. Each face told a story of survival. Intricate tattoos that marked environmental adaptations, biomechanical enhancements that spoke of desperate medical innovations, clothing assembled from whatever materials could be found. Area's sensor suite picked up something unexpected. Hidden networks of communication. Advanced technology carefully concealed beneath the settlement's rough exterior. These weren't just survivors. They were architects of a new world. "We have medical technologies," Surgeon Chen offered. "Restoration protocols for agricultural systems. Communication network reconstruction techniques." Maya's biomechanical eye flickered. A moment of calculation. Of potential hope. "Prove it," she said finally. The first step toward rebuilding had begun. 47 enhanced humans. 37 survivors. The fragments of humanity preparing to write their next chapter. Dr. Rice watched through their neural link, her breath catching. This was more than a mission. This was resurrection. Within 3 days, the settlement transformed beyond recognition. What had been a struggling outpost became a beacon of technological revival. Sergeant David Chen moved between improvised workshops, his enhanced neural network processing complex restoration protocols faster than entire research teams of the old world could have managed. Solar arrays rose from scavenged materials, their designs a perfect fusion of pre-collapse technology and innovative adaptive engineering. Hydroponic gardens bloomed in spaces that were once retail stores, producing nutrient-dense crops that could survive in the most challenging environments. Medical nanobots developed by Dr. Rice began their intricate work, healing injuries and addressing long-term health challenges that had plagued the survivors. Maya Rodriguez watched the transformation with a mixture of hope and calculated skepticism. Her biomechanical eye tracked every movement, every technological integration. "This isn't just help," she muttered to Captain Kane. "This is a complete system reboot." Aria Martinez worked tirelessly in the settlement's communication center. Rows of salvaged computer systems came to life, their processors linked in a complex neural network that would have been impossible before the collapse. She discovered encrypted data fragments, digital ghosts of the old world waiting to be understood. "Something's not right," Aria reported through their neural link. Her fingers danced across interfaces, piecing together fragments of information. These data packets, they're not random remnants. They're deliberate breadcrumbs. Dr. Elena Rice's voice crackled with excitement. "Show me everything." The settlement's inhabitants watched in awe as technology they had only dreamed of became reality. Water purification systems that could extract moisture from the most minimal sources. Energy grid innovations that turned every piece of salvaged material into a potential power source. Agricultural systems that could grow crops in conditions that would have been impossible decades ago. David Chen explained the innovations to a group of wide-eyed survivors. "It's not about replacing human ingenuity," he said, pointing to a complex hydroponic system. It's about amplifying what humans can already do. Each piece of technology is designed to be understood, maintained, and improved by you. Captain Kane oversaw the broader restoration efforts. Their mission was never about creating dependency, but about empowering survival. Each technological solution came with comprehensive training, each piece of advanced equipment designed to be replicated and improved. Area's data reconstruction yielded unexpected results. Fragments of global communication networks, preserved in ways no one could have anticipated. "I'm finding patterns," she reported. Someone wanted these fragments to be found. Maya approached the data reconstruction station. Her biomechanical eye interfaced directly with the systems, processing information at speeds that would have been unimaginable before the collapse. These aren't just data fragments, she realized. These are deliberate messages. Dr. Rice's voice carried a note of concern. What kind of messages? The settlement buzzed with new energy. Children who had known only survival now watched as their parents learned advanced agricultural techniques. Medical facilities came online, treating conditions that had been death sentences mere weeks ago. Communication networks expanded, connecting their isolated community to potential other survivors. "We're not just surviving," Kane observed to Maya. "We're preparing to rebuild." Area's final data reconstruction revealed something unexpected. Coordinates, communication protocols, fragments of a larger system that suggested their arrival was more than just chance. "Someone," Area said quietly, "wanted us to find this." The first phase of restoration was complete, but the real mission was just beginning. The night descended with an unnatural stillness. Sensor arrays across the settlement hummed with heightened anticipation. Captain Marcus Kane stood on the observation platform, his enhanced senses scanning the surrounding terrain with microscopic precision. Area Martinez's neural interface began to pulse with warning signals. "Incoming," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Multiple enhanced signatures. Not our design." The attacking force moved like shadows, a precision strike that would have overwhelmed any normal human settlement. But this was no ordinary group of survivors. The Prometheus team had been waiting, prepared. Maya Rodriguez's biomechanical systems went into full combat mode. Her modified tactical gear shifted, adaptive camouflage matching the surrounding environment with chameleon-like efficiency. "Defensive positions," she commanded, her voice cutting through the tension. David Chen's technological understanding became their first line of defense. Automated drone systems emerged from carefully hidden positions, their advanced targeting systems locking onto the incoming threats. Electromagnetic pulse generators stood ready, a last-line technological shield designed to neutralize advanced technological threats. The first wave hit like a precision storm. Enhanced individuals with cybernetic augmentations that spoke of a different approach to human enhancement, where the Prometheus team represented biological adaptation and holistic improvement. These attackers were a nightmare of mechanical integration. Sergeant Chen's fingers danced across a complex interface. "They're using a communication protocol I've never seen before," he reported. "Hybrid quantum organic transmission systems. This isn't standard military tech." Captain Kane moved with calculated precision. Each movement was a perfect blend of strategic thinking and enhanced physical capability. "Containment, not elimination," he reminded the team. Their mission had always been about preservation, about understanding. Area's sensor suite went into overdrive. She began mapping the attackers' technological signatures, identifying weaknesses, tracking communication patterns. "These aren't random raiders," she reported. "They're a coordinated unit with a specific objective." The battle lasted less than 10 minutes, but it was 10 minutes that would reshape their understanding of the post-collapse world. Dr. Elena Reyes watched through their neural link, her breath caught in her throat. "Analyze everything," she commanded. "Every piece of technology, every communication fragment." As the dust settled, the true nature of their attackers became clear. These were not simple raiders or desperate survivors. They were something else entirely, a carefully maintained force with advanced technological capabilities that predated the global collapse. Maya approached the fallen attackers, her biomechanical eye scanning their technological augmentations. "These aren't random enhancements," she muttered. "This is something else. A different approach to human survival." Captain Kane began the careful process of technological analysis. Each piece of equipment, each cybernetic enhancement became a puzzle to be understood. "Someone knows we're here," he said quietly. "Someone wants to stop what we're doing." David Chen's preliminary analysis revealed something extraordinary. The attacking force's technological signature suggested a level of preparation that went beyond simple survival. "These aren't recent modifications," he reported. "These are systems that were developed before the collapse. Carefully maintained. Waiting." Area's data reconstruction began to paint a broader picture. Communication fragments, technological signatures, hints of a larger system that existed beneath the surface of human civilization. "We're not just survivors," Kane observed to Maya. "We're part of something much larger." The settlement had passed its first test, but the real mission was just beginning to reveal itself. As dawn broke, more questions remained than answers, but hope, a careful, calculated hope, continued to burn bright. The data chip recovered from the fallen attackers became the center of an intense investigation. Dr. Elena Reyes worked alongside Captain Kane and Area Martinez in a makeshift analysis center, layers of advanced technology transforming an old retail space into a high-tech research facility. "This isn't just random data," Area muttered, her enhanced neural interface processing information at speeds that would have been miraculous in the old world. Holographic displays surrounded her, each fragment of information color-coded and cross-referenced. Maya Rodriguez watched from the side, her biomechanical eye interfacing directly with the analysis systems. The pieces were beginning to form a disturbing picture, a narrative of global manipulation that extended far beyond their initial understanding of the world's collapse. David Chen's technological reconstruction revealed the first major breakthrough. "These communication protocols," he explained to the gathered team, "suggest a coordinated global effort that began decades before the environmental systems started to fail." The data told a story of calculated destruction. Not a sudden collapse, but a carefully orchestrated plan to reshape human civilization. Fragments of communication revealed a global consortium, a group of political, technological, and economic leaders who had determined that human civilization needed a complete reset. Captain Kane's strategic mind began to piece together the broader implications. "They didn't just want to reduce population," he said quietly. "They wanted to fundamentally reshape human potential." Dr. Rice's hands moved across the interfaces, pulling together decades of fragmented information. Research notes, communication logs, strategic planning documents that had survived in encrypted data clusters. The Prometheus project, she realized, wasn't just a backup plan. It was a direct response to this consortium's strategy. Area's data reconstruction continued to yield shocking revelations: environmental manipulation programs, technological suppression protocols, a systematic approach to limiting human potential that had been running for generations. "Someone wanted to control human evolution," Maya said, her voice a mixture of anger and calculated understanding. "Not just control. Reshape." The team worked through the night, each member bringing their unique capabilities to the investigation. David Chen's technological expertise, Area's data reconstruction skills, Captain Kane's strategic thinking, Maya's tactical understanding. Dr. Reyes found the most critical piece of evidence near dawn, the communication log that revealed the true scope of the consortium's plans. "They believe human civilization was fundamentally flawed," she explained. "Their solution was a complete systemic reset." The implications were staggering. The environmental disasters, the technological suppression, the carefully managed collapse of global systems, all part of a larger plan to reshape human civilization. "We weren't just an insurance policy," Captain Kane realized. "We were a deliberate countermeasure." Area's final data reconstruction revealed something unexpected. Coordinates, communication protocols, a network of hidden facilities that suggested their arrival was more than just chance. Someone, Arya said quietly, wanted us to find this. Maya approached the data display, her biomechanical eye interfacing directly with the systems. This goes deeper than we thought, she muttered. This isn't just about survival. This is about understanding who we are as a species. The first rays of dawn began to break through the settlement's protective barriers. What had begun as a mission of survival was transforming into something much larger, a quest to understand the true nature of human potential. Dr. Rice looked at the team. 47 enhanced humans, the last hope of a species that had been deliberately pushed to the brink of extinction. We're not just survivors, she said quietly. We're humanity's reset button. The real mission was just beginning. Word of the Prometheus team spread like a digital wildfire across the fragmented human settlements. Communications networks, once thought impossible to restore, began to pulse with new life. Each transmission carried hope, a promise of restoration, of something beyond mere survival. Captain Marcus Kane understood the delicate nature of their expansion. This wasn't about conquest. This was about rebuilding a fractured civilization, one settlement at a time. Arya Martinez managed the communication networks with unprecedented skill. Her enhanced neural interfaces could simultaneously track hundreds of communication channels, filtering, analyzing, and connecting isolated human groups. Encrypted messages passed through systems that would have been incomprehensible before the collapse. We're creating more than a network, she reported to Dr. Elena Reyes. We're building a new kind of human infrastructure. David Chen worked tirelessly on technological restoration. Abandoned research facilities became centers of innovation. Solar arrays rose from forgotten landscapes. Agricultural systems transformed marginal territories into thriving ecosystems. Each technological solution came with comprehensive training, designed to empower rather than create dependency. Maya Rodriguez coordinated the defensive strategies. Her biomechanical systems allowed her to analyze potential threats with superhuman precision. The settlements they were connecting needed protection, not just from external threats, but from the lingering dangers of the collapsed world. The consortium that had engineered the global collapse was not finished. Traces of their infrastructure remained, hidden communication networks, isolated technological strongholds that continued to manipulate the remnants of human civilization. They're watching, Kane acknowledged during a strategy meeting. The team gathered in a fortified command center, holographic displays showing the growing network of restored settlements. Dr. Rice's research began to reveal the true depth of the consortium's plans. This wasn't just about population control, she explained. They wanted to fundamentally reshape human potential. The Prometheus project was always meant to be a countermeasure. Settlements began to share resources, knowledge, and hope. Agricultural techniques developed in one location were quickly shared with others. Medical innovation spread like a healing wave across the devastated landscape. Technology that had been lost was being rediscovered and improved. Arya's communication networks uncovered something unexpected. Isolated groups of enhanced humans, not part of the Prometheus project, but similar. Survivors who had developed unique adaptations to the post-collapse world. We're not alone, she reported. And we're not the only ones who survived by adapting. The team realized their mission was evolving. They were no longer just survivors or restorers. They were becoming architects of a new human civilization. David Chen's technological innovations began to connect settlements in ways never before possible. Communication systems that could operate with minimal infrastructure. Energy solutions that could transform the most challenging environments. Agricultural technologies that could grow food in conditions that would have been impossible decades ago. Maya's defensive strategies expanded, not as a means of control, but as a method of protection. Each settlement was taught to be self-sufficient, to defend itself, to grow and adapt. Captain Kane watched the growing network with a strategic eye. We're creating something new, he told Dr. Reyes. Not a recreation of the old world. Something better. The consortium's remaining infrastructure began to crumble. communication networks they had maintained for decades started to break down. The careful control they had exerted was being dismantled, piece by piece. Dr. Rice looked at the team, 47 enhanced humans who represented humanity's last hope. "We're not just rebuilding," she said quietly. "We're evolving." As another settlement came online, another group of survivors found hope. Another piece of lost technology was restored. The true mission became clear. Humanity was hitting its reset button. 1 year after their awakening, the first new city rose from the devastated landscape. It was not a recreation of the old world, but something entirely different, a testament to human potential and adaptive resilience. Captain Marcus Kane stood on the observation platform of New Horizon, watching solar-powered transport vessels move between settlement zones. The city represented more than just architectural achievement. It was a living blueprint of human restoration. Dr. Elena Rice approached, her own enhanced systems showing the toll of their incredible journey. "We did it," she said quietly, her voice carrying the weight of decades of preparation and hope. Kane's response was measured. "No, humanity did it." The city defied every previous understanding of urban development. Vertical gardens integrated seamlessly with living architecture, energy systems that drew power from multiple renewable sources, communication networks that connected not just people, but entire ecosystems of human knowledge and potential. Aria Martinez managed the central communication hub, her neural interfaces processing information at speeds that would have been impossible before the collapse. Settlements across the restored territories shared resources, knowledge, and hope in real time. David Chen's technological innovations had transformed survival into something more. Agricultural systems that could grow food in previously uninhabitable regions, medical technologies that could heal and prevent diseases that had decimated populations, communication networks that bridged isolated human groups. Maya Rodriguez oversaw the defensive and adaptive strategies. Her biomechanical systems had become a critical part of the city's adaptive infrastructure. Each system was designed not for control, but for collective protection and growth. The 47 enhanced humans of the Prometheus project had become something more than their original design. They were architects, teachers, protectors, and most importantly, catalysts of human potential. Fragments of the old consortium's infrastructure continued to crumble. The careful control they had maintained for generations was being systematically dismantled, not through direct confrontation, but through a more powerful force, human innovation and collective hope. Dr. Rice found herself reflecting on the journey. The Prometheus project had been more than a survival mechanism. It was a deliberate counter to a system that had sought to limit human potential. Each of the enhanced humans represented a different approach to human adaptation: biological, technological, strategic, medical. Communication networks revealed other groups of survivors who had developed unique adaptations, some technological, some biological, some purely cultural. Each group added another layer to humanity's growing understanding of survival and potential. "We're not just rebuilding," Aria reported during a strategy session. "We're evolving." The first generation of children born in New Horizon represented something entirely new. Raised with access to recovered knowledge, advanced educational systems, and an understanding of humanity's potential that went beyond simple survival. Kane watched a group of children working on a complex ecological restoration project. They moved with a confidence and understanding that would have been unimaginable in the old world. Not just survivors, architects of a new future. Dr. Rice approached the observation platform, her enhanced systems interfacing with the city's adaptive infrastructure. "The Prometheus project was never just about survival," she said. "It was about potential." The city below was a living testament to human resilience. Every building, every system, every communication network represented a deliberate choice to move forward, to grow, to become something more. Maya Rodriguez joined them, her biomechanical eye scanning the horizon. "We're not finished," she said. "This is just the beginning." Kane looked at the team. 47 enhanced humans who had become the reset button for human civilization. Not conquerors, not saviors, simply catalysts of potential. No, he said quietly. This is humanity's next chapter. As another transport vessel moved across the skyline, another settlement came online. Another piece of lost technology was restored. The true mission became clear. Humanity had not fallen. Humanity had evolved.